In World War I, soldiers fighting in the trenches suffered from blast-related brain injuries, such as shell shock. Victims have symptoms that range from sleeping disorders to problems with memory and cognition. It's been 100 years since World War I. For traumatic brain injury, the shell shock of our era is just as relevant today.
Traumatic brain injury is usually caused by a blow to the head. For example, hitting your head against a car windshield during an accident or going too fast on a ski slope and crashing. Military personnel in conflict zones are especially prone to traumatic brain injury, resulting from proximity to explosions or from shrapnel. Debilitating injuries from improvised explosive devices in Iraq and Afghanistan and the many cases of shell shock reported in World War I are typical of traumatic brain injury.
Brain scans and MRIs have shown the extent of damage to structures in the brain. Sufferers of traumatic brain injury typically have problems with speaking and understanding language, difficulty with moving about, and problems with thinking, managing behaviors and emotions, lack of bowel and bladder control. They will be affected both physically and mentally, experiencing mood swings, depressions, and disorientation. Because of traumatic brain injury, their lives have changed drastically.
The thing that I miss the most is having the capabilities and ability that I used to have.
Now just in shock. Why am I here? Why am I speaking funny? Where am I?
During impact, the soft, fragile brain scrapes against a hard and jagged skull to create shearing forces, which cause axonal injuries. Axons are either completely torn, partially torn, or separated from their connections with other cells. Millions of scattered axons may be torn, but unless larger arteries are torn as well, no bleeding occurs. Generally, traumatic brain injury is categorized by mechanical mechanism, clinical severity, and by assessment of structural damage. MRIs and CTs are designed to detect areas of bleeding, but because traumatic brain injury doesn't always involve ruptured blood vessels, cellular damage wasn't always implicated, let alone observed. This is why the causes of shell shock and behavior problems have long been a mystery.
Stem cells provide a possible treatment for traumatic brain injury because they may be able to restore damaged neurons and structures in the brain. Stem cell selection can reduce axon degeneration by protecting vulnerable axons in order to promote axonal regeneration. Also, with traumatic brain injury resulting in neuronal loss caused by structural damage, the primary target is neural circuit reconstruction to restore function. Because neural stem cells are able to differentiate into mature neurons and execute related functions, neural stem cells have been regarded as a reasonable starting place for neural circuit restoration.
Supported by animal experiments that indicate some central nervous system damage may be preventable or reversible by stem cell-based approaches, stem cell therapy has already been applied in clinical trials involving various neurological diseases, such as stroke, ALS, and PD. From these trials, two main hypotheses have emerged, the first being cell replacement and second being cell support or protection. Other possible hypotheses involve the suppression of neuroinflammation and stimulation of endogenous neurogenic niche for self-regenerative recovery. For example, a study in 2013 found that the transplantation of stem cells into the brains of rats following traumatic brain injury produced a significant improvement in motor function. study has been able to show that TSG6, a protein produced by the cells, was able to improve memory after traumatic brain injury in mice.
Traumatic brain injury is a major management problem for doctors and nurses, and a huge frustration for patients and their loved ones. Traumatic brain injury creates a heavy social and economic burden on a global scale. It is an important focus of medical health care in war zones, as it is the major cause of death and many longer-term problems in the aftermath of war. In certain regions, this need is especially acute because of the recent surge in the use of powerful, cheap explosive used against civilians and military personnel.
But stem cells are a glimmer of hope for traumatic brain injury. If stem cell therapy can help to heal and repair an injured brain, it will not only help to save lives and to recover neural functions, but can also help people get back to their normal lives and as a result, restore families, communities, and society.